Just to introduce everyone, obviously you all know the star today, Emmanuel Santos, who's joining us from Melbourne, and Tessa Maria Guazon, who is a curator and art educator based in Manila. Really lovely to have you with us as well, Tessa.
As we know that in the name of progress, we have also neglect the responsibility in managing our environment. So there's a lot of destruction, there's a lot of pollution, there's a lot of environmental issues that are related to this called development and globalized kind of in order to address these issues, where starting from the very early period, I've started in Israel and photographing at the lowest point of the Earth, because I know that the spaceman has gone to the highest point of our galaxy, and I thought that to come back, it has to go back to the very lowest point of the Earth, which is the Dead Sea. And from there, I moved into the Philippines to address the beautiful country, and at the same time how the devastation of the environment in terms of housing projects that is incurred because of overpopulation. When I left the country about 35 of, there's a whole lot of forests, and there's a whole lot of great, wonderful lands, agricultural lands, as the people are working from. And 35 years and 40 years, 4 decades later, a lot of this has already gone.
So, Mannix, would you like to comment a little bit about some of the photos and what they mean, and in particular, this one, the Baguio Cowboys?
No, for example, this photograph that we're looking at now, if it's all in your screen, I think this is it's so relevant now. When I have written here that we were once connected, speaking a common language. Now we look at each other from a distance, not knowing where we're going and vaguely remembering where we've been. With this kind of phase of social distancing, most of those people that I've encountered when I went back, this is the place where I grew up. I knew them. And then suddenly they kind of so distant. They don't even know how to approach me. I can't even approach them because it's not about the language. It's just that the perception of, and I become like a stranger in my own kind of world, in my own kind of town, in the place where I grew up. And same thing with other places wherein everything that I have seen, on the second picture maybe, it's just like my whole memory of childhood, wherein it's very kind of regrettable and very tragic that our cultural identity slowly fading because of one uniform, globalized kind of. That's very sad, because that kind of identity of our cultural kind of uniqueness is becoming so diluted. And I think the beauty of the world of our Earth is the different spectrum, the different color, plethora of people that are living in it.
The first time we met, I asked you where the astronaut came from. Maybe you can tell us about the astronaut.
After so many years, I think we have just celebrated the landing of the moon just recently, and I think humanity or mankind has gone to this extent of being able to reach the moon or explore the galaxies, and at the same time there is a certain sense of respect to the cultural importance. And so this metaphor, being the metaphor kind of symbol for progress and development, became the theme. So I thought that, well, if the spaceman could be the and I'm always been fascinated by spacemen anyway, could be the perfect kind of symbol. I need to do that. I have to kind of like ask this a wardrobe kind of like designers from New York create this kind of like wardrobes for movies on Apollo series and NASA movies to create me an exact replica of Neil Armstrong's. That's how it happened, and then it arrived, and then I first took it to Israel and to reach place that I wanted to start with, and then from Israel I photographed it in Argentina, in Poland, in Eastern Europe, in the Philippines, mainly also because I thought that we addressed the rapid change that have kind of like impacted in the development and overdevelopment in the whole kind of agrarian system and industrialization of the country. Sometimes it's not a lot of like, for example, the fishing industry has, meaning that the Filipinos, being 100 million people, are so much dependent on the agrarian and the fishing culture for their source of income. These things are being impacted so much by the environmental kind of like issues and development, and because of, again, the whole mainly a lot of the lands that are being used for agricultural forms are being taken by housing, and a lot of the oceans, the waters are being kind of taken over by gigantic kind of like fishing boats that are now kind of like taking more of the dramatic kind of like impact on gathering or fishing and making the fishing industry, the global fishing industry, in a very kind of like disastrous way. First, so I got the spacesuit complete and then ready to go to Israel to take the photographs, and then I have to go via Poland, and I said to my friend, guess what I've got in this suitcase? A spacesuit. And he said, oh, I would like to borrow it. Let's go to the pub. And then anyway, he wears his spacesuit, and then we became like the star in the pub. Everybody's buying us drink, you know, and all that. And then he goes to the toilet, and he asked me, how do I take this off? Just take this thing off, and then this thing off. And then he comes back very happy after that, you know, half an hour later. And I said, where's the helmet? He said, oh, I left it in the toilet. We go back to the toilet, there's no helmet, and we lost the toilet. We lost the toilet, we lost the helmet. And we couldn't find it. We found the person who was wearing it going out with the camera, and then of course the CCTV only sees the man with the helmet, and we don't know who he is. So we have to wait for another 5 months in order for the helmet to come back, and then while we were in Israel, we had to kind of like create a simulated kind of helmet, and that's how we started.
Mannix, this is a very curious picture because when I wrote about the works, the actual printed photos, so I just saw the files of the images, and it's curious how the head of the astronaut is also like the lens of the camera, because you will see that the reflective surface also reflects the place this photograph is, where the photograph is taken. In this picture, you see the children looking at you and yourself, or the place where you are reflected in the head of the astronaut. So there's just a curious relay of lenses. So it's not just the photographic lens that is working, but it's also the lens of the figure of the astronaut, the gaze of the children, your gaze, and of course the lead's gaze, which is inside the suit itself. So I find this very, very interesting.
Yeah, I was taking so many pictures without the children in it. And then we were almost finished. Cave is the entrance to this place. And they say, of course, they were expecting just to see a very hollow cave with no one in it, let alone seeing a space person in a spacesuit. So of course they are as kind of surprised as we were during that time, and that was like the perfect moment. So I just like, okay, let them come in, I take the photograph, and that was where the magic happened. About 35 years ago, or 40 years ago, when I left the country, that background there is a full forest, not a single house in it. And when I came back, I took this photograph about maybe 7 years ago, and not a single tree in it. It's all houses, and it's just like the favela in Nuap, and electricity had come in, and then of course the modern kind of development. We don't experience these rituals in our lives. That's why everything is just instantaneous. Everything is just like an instant gratification, and therefore we don't decelerate in order to kind of like absorb the things that are going on within our lives. So yeah, I use an old-fashioned camera in order to take pictures and print them, and again print them in the darkroom, and then after that start to paint them, because I like to be able to kind of like touch, and then each one would have my signature, not just a signature literally, but my signature is in the color palette, the kind of like the colors that I remember that I would like to represent symbolically, that would bring and lift the photograph in its kind of like real essence.
So again, you take the photo in black and white, and then
yes,
you process it yourself?
Yes, the photograph is taken in black and white, and I do a darkroom process, and then after that I start painting the pictures like the old-fashioned way.
So the photos we see, for example, on this photo of Lu Guagon, the colors, what relationship those colors have to the reality? Is this house green in the background? And
well, these are the kind of like the color palettes that I have encountered in this newly kind of like established kind of like villages in the mountain province. Before, when I used to go there when I was younger, all these houses used to be just made out of grass. It's only one color, grass color. And now with all this corrugated iron and all this kind of cement, it became a very kind of like collage of different kind of colors of whatever they could buy that is available. So if the blue is there and it's cheap, they buy the blue. If the pink is there and it's cheap, they buy the pink. So now you have this kind of like tapestry of the different colors of houses in this place that's really kind of like, wow, what is it? It's like a patch-up job in the beautiful environment.
wow. So maybe we'll see in a minute the next photo. So this one, tile. So let me again confirm I understand correctly, because this is so amazing, Mannix. So you have taken this black and white photo, you processed it in a dark room, you hand painted it, and this new hand painted original, you take a photo of it. So what we see is a photo of the hand painted original, and then you're going to touch up the colors on the piece we see exhibited.
That's right. Yeah. So each one of them that were being exhibited has got their own kind of like identity, and nothing is like identical, because a lot of them, some of them has got minor changes in enhancing the color. So in this particular photograph, as we have remembered before COVID, the Taal volcano in the Philippines have erupted, and it's completely again like this beautiful environment has been completely covered with gray ash, and a lot of the fish kind of like disappeared or died or vanished, and the kind of like common income of the people around it has been completely devastated, and it was thus as difficult as like looking at it from this photograph, which is a very to me it's a beautiful, peaceful photograph of the Taal Lake, and of course when the volcano woke up and erupted, it wasn't as beautiful as it was that I remember. Yeah.
Does anyone want to ask something? You just unmute yourself and yes, Chris, go ahead.
Ask me a question.
I'm really curious because I also do painting and I write poems. There are times that I have huge level of self-doubt, and there are times that I'm super positive, you know. So how do you know to pursue, keep going at it?
I think the most important thing here is that there is everyone is born with a certain kind of purpose, and I have kind of woke up or maybe in my earlier realization that my true language is the language of art through photography and music, and everybody has got a song or a photograph that belongs to their heart, and to me it is what keeps me alive, keeps me breathing, and it's just like every photograph that I take is like a word or a letter that becomes a word, and then a whole combination of my photographs become the alphabet that I then kind of like put together in order to create a story. And the story is continuing, very positive and nourishing, not only for the heart, for the vision. It is like whatever we do is a reflection of who we are and how we perceive the world and what we wanted to say around the world, about the world, what were our concerns, our involvement. Like in terms of music, the kind of songs that I sing are ballads that tell stories about love that is lost, life that is gained, and all that sort of thing. And same thing with my photography. I think it is experiencing the universality of human existence. And to me, I love to experience every chapter, every minute, and observe that human existence and how it is that is being kind of reflected from one place to another. And I think that, and having what is the common denominator, humanity has got a heart and a soul. We all cry, we all laugh, and I think that's the only difference is like how we exist in between and how we kind of like blend and how we are in harmony with our environment.
What I'm noticing is even though we have this stay home, order, what I realize is that people who are not used to it, they still continue to mute by being engaged in a lot of webinars, a lot of Zoom meetings. They're trying to mute it some other way. So through your photos, it's just so glaring. Like, are we actually, wearing a suit over ourselves so that we are segregated again because we are comfortable being segregated?
Especially now, everybody's wearing a mask whenever we come out. So it's hard to see if people are smiling or they're kind of like not smiling or what, but you could try. This is when we start using the feeling, because you could feel the people, whether they're wearing a mask or not, you could feel their presence, you could feel their happiness, you could feel their sadness. And that's why I said, like the most eloquent way of capturing a great image is with your heart, because if it's really a great image that was captured by the heart, it would last to eternity.
I enjoyed that, stunning nature. I think I saw the first one I saw was actually the astronaut that was surrounded by sea in the Philippines. And it really struck me how beautiful it is and how our world must look to aliens coming in and looking from above. And that I found that sometimes as human beings we forget how beautiful our world is. And that's probably why we pollute it so much and we destroy it and we hurt it, in so many ways and the things that we do around us. So it was a very good reminder of a fresh look at nature. That's what I enjoyed the most, the extreme contrast of the suit, coming from space, but have represented, other beings even that arrive on this planet for the first time. And it just made me appreciate the beauty of our planet even more. So thank you for that. I enjoyed the work that you did that way.
Thank you very much also, the way you see it that way, because I share the same kind of feeling. And I think that, like for example now, during our time of self-quarantine, people are commenting how beautiful the flowers are, that they could smell, the air is so fresh. Doing some painting. And I was doing some painting, and then I was told that I was a hopeless painter. So, I was very fortunate enough that, that I was given a camera, and then from there I said, okay, maybe I'll just take some photographs because, I could take some photographs and then maybe start painting on them, and that would be probably people would say that I'm not a hopeless painter. But I've always kind of looked at the things in a very different way, wherein I think that, my love for humanity and has taken me to the world of ethnographic photography. And to me, understanding the rituals and the traditions of cultural kind of like communities around the world, whether it be from Eastern Europe to the Middle East to Asia, has always fascinated me. It's always have given me something that is, to me, just like collecting beautiful jewels for your neck, as a necklace. That each community, each culture that I visited and encountered is a precious jewel. And each of them has got a story. And each story is a story that is constant, that exists and would never change. And our own translation and interpretation is the only thing that makes it change. And to me, the basic of this humanity, to me, it's so beautiful. If I could portray that in my photographs. So from there, I tried to work as a press photographer, but, I was a hopeless kind of a photojournalist. So I said, I just started, to do some essays, long-term essays. So my essays, last maybe a decade or so, and still continuing.